Good morning and namaste everybody. In today's class we are going to discuss about the text Nelson Mandela which is given in the textbook of B.Ed first year compulsory English. Okay, talking about Nelson Mandela, this is the picture of Mandela and let's discuss some of the main points of the text. This is an interview. Okay, this text is an interview. It is given in the form of interview, and the interview is taken by the reporter of Reader's Digest. And this text describes how he became the good man, or let's say the great man. And Nelson Mandela is synonyms for freedom fighter who spent his whole life to end the apartheid, means this discriminated system of racially based division and discrimination in South Africa. And Nelson Mandela is a well-known figure of his principle of multiculturalism and faith of reconciliation even between opponents. Okay, let's continue the main points. Mandela is one of the key politicians, it means epitome politicians, not only in South Africa but also for entire world. And Nelson Mandela in the text, okay, in this interview, he highlights on the role of Muhammad and Reader's Digest to influence him, and he also explains the role of parents to their children, and he also talks about his behavior towards the people who are suffering from different types of terminal diseases in this text. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the introduction to Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918 in Mepso, Transkei, that is located in South Africa, and he was a member of the royal house of the Thembu tribe. Okay. And Nelson Mandela was received his education in British Model School, and at the beginning he was a lawyer. Later he joined African National Congress, that is one of the political party of Africa, and he became the member of that political party in 1942, aiming to end the racial discrimination, domination, and exploitation which was privileged in South Africa. Okay, and for 20 years, okay, he became the member of African National Congress in 1942, and up to 1962, he directed a campaign of peaceful, non-violent, in order to make the people aware regarding their political rights and freedom in South Africa, right? Then what happened is in 1962, after the 20 years of joining the African National Congress, he was arrested by the police and he was put into the prison without the possibility of parole, it means release, okay? But due to the pressure of the people, okay, in 1990, after 27 years, he was released from the prison. And in 1993, what happened is he and one of another South African president of that time, F.W. de Klerk, they were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for their effort to dismantle, means solve the country's apartheid system. Then in 1994, look what happened is he was elected as the South Africa's first black president. And in 2009, in his birthday, that is on July 18, that day was declared as the Mandela Day. And even today, that day is celebrated as Mandela Day in South Africa to promote global peace and celebrate the South African leaders' legacy. Okay, then finally, in 2013, December 5, at the age of 95, he died at his home in Johannesburg. Okay, these are some information to you about Nelson Mandela. Now let's move to the summary of the text. Okay, this text is based on the interview conducted by Reader's Digest with the ex-president, means the former president of South Africa, and name is Nelson Mandela, which you have already known. And Mandela was born in 1918 and he died in 2013. Yes, you are right. He was a member of the royal house of the Thembu tribe. Okay, very good. And he achieved his education, means he got his education in the British Model School of South Africa, where his freedoms were strictly limited. And in the school, he was taught to be the black Englishman. Look, He was taught to be a black Englishman because he was the black South African and needed to behave with the quality of English, and he didn't like to be treated as black Englishman because he because as a black South African his freedoms were limited by the British Raj. Raj here means the colony, let's say empire. So Mandela's son, okay, is one of his son. His name was Magato, and he had died because of HIV/AIDS. And regarding the HIV/AIDS, this this what Nelson Mandela has a kind of vision. He says that HIV/AIDS died the makes the people die more than the disease itself. It means if we do not visit those HIV/AIDS victimized people, they will die soon. Okay, that is the view of Nelson Mandela, and he also says that in his young age he became the member of a African National Congress and decided to fight against the government to establish peace, getting rights and freedom, uprooting any kinds of domination, discrimination from the society existed between white and black. Okay, then later in 1962 he was arrested. Okay, already I have told you, and in 1990 he was released from the prison after 27 years, and in 1994 he was elected as the first president from the behalf of black race in South Africa. And in order to show intimacy and closeness, he was called to be Madiba by his supporters. Look, that's the reason he was called to be Madiba, to show the intimacy and closeness by his supporters. So he was a democratic leader and he chose the path of reconciliation. He said that because he believed that people respond in accordance to how he relates to them. So if we approach them on the basis of violence, they will react violently. If we behave peacefully, then people will want the same thing. It means tit for tat. Okay. In the interview, Nelson Mandela says that it is no good for any democracy when its leaders remain in power for a long time because they are likely to misuse the power, okay, for their own benefit rather than the welfare of the public. That's why it is not very good to remain in a power by the political leaders for a long period of time. It is danger for democracy. And regarding the religion, he says that none of the religion is superior and none of the religion is inferior. All the religions, Hindu, Buddhist, Isai, okay, Muslim, Kirat, and Jain, Confucius, these all religions are equal, and the relation between man and his or her God is a personal matter. Therefore, one is free to choose the religion. So, religions are good for society, but we have a kind of unhealthy competition between various regions or religious groups that is not good. So he thinks that people following one religion must respect the religion of other people. It means you belong to one religion, your friend may belong to another religion, and you have to respect other religions also. Okay, then only there will be the religious tolerance in the society. And regarding the queries related to HIV/AIDS, Mandela says that people suffering from HIV/AIDS should be visited frequently and we have to talk with them so that they will be encouraged to live their life being free from any kind of tension and mental torture. And Mandela says that we should not isolate the people suffering from terminal diseases. Okay, we have to love them, we have to visit them frequently, and we have to that we have to develop a kind of good relationship with them so that they will long for a long time. And he says that terminal disease, those people who are suffering from terminal disease should be eh, were treated in a positive way. That's why they will live for a long time. Similarly, regarding the problems of this present world, Nelson Mandela says that there are three major problems. One is the terminal disease, and beyond the terminal disease, there are other two. There, one is poverty, and next one is the lack of education. That's why each and every child should be given proper and well education. And in the absence of good education, the children or the people cannot face the challenges of their life. That's the thing. And he says that he has given, yes, he has provided good education to his children as well as the great grandchildren. That's why they have understood the world much better than himself or Nelson Mandela. Okay, let's continue. And Mandela also says that children are the source of knowledge. Why? Because they can be very frank and they help to correct our past mistakes. And he himself was also learned his mistakes that he made in the past from the children because they reminded him to those mistakes. So Mandela wants to convey the message to the parents of the world, okay, to give proper education and guidance to their children so that they can understand what they have to, what kind of role they have to play, okay, for the betterment of their society and country. And Mandela says that nothing is free from the any kind of weakness in this universe, and so is the case regarding the institution also. And that's why he, our role in the institution is to remove the weaknesses of our institution. And regarding the intervention of US and UK says that uh, it is, as let's say, he put his objection to the US and UK's intervention in Iraq because, according to him, the government of the US and UK at that time are taking action in Iraq without asking the permission of the United States, United what nation, not state. Okay. Uh, so he also gives his view regarding the multilateralism also, and regarding this, he says that it is important. Multilateralism is important because he believes in the capacity of human beings, public, and finally in the text he says that it is bad for any democracy. Already I have told you, if the leaders remain in power for a long time, because if the same leaders remain in a power for a long time, they may misuse their power for their own benefits, and they are likely to lose people's faith upon them. Okay, these are the views of Nelson Mandela, which he has presented. Okay, in the text, and this text I have already told you is in the form of interview, and here in this interview, Reader's Digest, let's say reporter of Reader's Digest is an interviewer, and Nelson Mandela is an interviewee, and he has provided his opinion, views regarding the multiple themes which we have discussed or discussed just now. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Hope that you will get some information about this text with the help of this video. Okay, thank you, please.